Quinn came into this world on November 21st, 1991. He was a great baby, very sweet. I would say growing up, you know, as a toddler and such, he was always very loving. He loved his family. He loved being at home. He loved, you know, his sister. They're very close and had so many great memories together. They had, Quinn had a lot of good friends, you know, Lauren and Riley and Morgan and Will, and they were in our house constantly.
I mean, there's so many things that like made Quinn remarkable, and he was just so naturally gifted in so many different areas of, you know, whether it be athletics or like art or fashion, and just really just enjoyed life like nobody else. He had a hard time dealing with things that were, you know, eating him up inside, but he was always trying to make, you know, us, everybody around him, feel good and feel loved.
We were all back home for the holiday. We were all home for Christmas, and it was the first time that our close group of friends was together. It felt like the gang was back in town, and we were all so excited. I felt like Quinn was invincible again. I felt like Quinn was back in a really good position. So having that feeling before going away, I spent Christmas with my mom up in Vermont, and I had left like Christmas Eve. And so I was up in Vermont when I got the call from Lauren.
We had Christmas Day, and Quinn was really happy to be home. Everybody that knew Quinn knew he loved Christmas. And I went to run a few errands, not thinking anything was wrong. And then I came back, and I walked up the front steps of the porch, and I saw a couple of gifts from Lauren. And I thought, oh, Quinn must have left with Lauren and just left him on the porch, you know. But I came inside, and I saw his boots, his Blundstones, and his Sperry's. And it was winter, so he would have had one or the other on. So at that point, I came around the corner, and the lights on the tree weren't on. And that's the first thing he did during the holidays. I just went running up the stairs.
And, you know, I'll never forget what she said. You know, she's like, Quinn's dead. And it just sort of like, it was just like this, my mind couldn't, I heard what she said and I knew it was real, but I couldn't, like, I didn't know what to do.
Yeah, when I pulled in the driveway, there was police everywhere and fire, you know, the ambulance, and I was just like, it's just not real. It just can't be real.
I just couldn't help but think that this light, this person who brought so much vibrance and energy into any interaction, I just couldn't help but think that was no longer, that it was like snuffed out.
The work you have out here, you make a lot of money, you know, so you can maintain a habit well, you know, where you're gonna keep your habit going, you're gonna be fed, you're gonna be able to go out, you're gonna be able to hang out, buy the clothes you want. And so I think for a long time, like, he was really able to keep the appearance up of like, hey, everything's good here, you know, like I'm dressing nice, I've got friends, I've got everything that I normally have, and he's still in really good shape. So it's like, there was never that moment where I like one day looked at him and thought, whoa, like you're skinny, or your eyes are sunken in, you look pale. There was
no, he was ripped.
Yeah, he was
very handsome, muscular, like,
yeah,
his tan, like, it was, if there were signs, they're so subtle that, like, and we were maybe just hoping for the best, that we didn't notice anything.
There is this mind picture of a drug addict. You're down and out, not somebody you want in the house. But they're our neighbors, they're our relatives, they're our friends. We have to destigmatize it so people know that there is a way out.
Our daughter, you know, she brought it to our attention on several occasions because she was really worried about him, loves him very much. And we would talk to him, and he was so, he was convincing that that it was okay, it was under control, everything was okay, Mom, it's all right, don't worry.
I remember vividly, his sister came to me and said, I'm really concerned about Quinn. And I still regret not taking that warning like I probably should have. The Quinn that I knew and spent time with, I didn't have the same concern. I didn't know how to respond. I had no idea what to do.
When you look back, there's those moments where you're like, okay, that behavior was different. But in the moment, you might have the feeling that something's bad is happening, but you don't want to admit it to yourself. I wish that I had just known more. I was young. I didn't know about anything like this.
And same as today, we all go out and we all go drinking, smoking, we're all just normal people. So I think it's so hard to pinpoint a difference, maybe this is a little worse, maybe he's doing a little more, maybe I think it was hard to just like they said, pinpoint that exact time when it was shit, this is not just drinking, this is not just smoking, this is not just us having a good time all as friends, this has become something much darker, a lot worse.
I truly believe the lowest point of despair is the loss of one's child, the preventable loss of one's child. And we feel it was preventable. Maybe it wasn't, but as parents, I think that's how we feel.
The issue is when you lose somebody like Quinn, you lose the promise of his youth and what he was going to be or what he could have been. You recognize the effects on his family. And then you have the effects on his friends. And I think this is an unappreciated or unhonored loss.
There's no playbook. There's no right way of going about it. Everyone's unique. Everyone has their own way that, they need to communicate or they need support. And, the stigma against it makes it so that no one wants to seek help, because whatever judgment there is that follows, coming out with whatever struggle you might have.
I had a patient in here today that all of a sudden said, well, I'm a drunk and an addict. I said, well, you're sort of stigmatizing yourself. Those aren't words that you should use. You have a problem. Would you stigmatize yourself with a broken leg?
It's very easy. The way that Quinn got involved, it just happened so slowly. It wasn't like he took a Percocet one time. And I did ask him, I said, what made you do that? And I said, peer pressure? And he said, maybe a little. But he said, there was a little curiosity too. And he said, when I took it, I got that relief from that voice in my head that said, you're not good enough, you're not smart enough. And he said, I liked that feeling. Now, anyone that knew Quinn knew he was good enough and he was smart enough. But I think this started when he was really young.
I think if we can listen from an early standpoint or an early stage of, learning of people's struggles before they come to a head where someone chooses to, find a route in which to ease their pain, then that's a much better start than hitting it at at a rehab stage.
This type of thing can happen to anyone. It can happen to absolutely anyone at any point in your life. This isn't something that happens to young people or people struggling financially or emotionally or anything like that. This can happen to absolutely anyone. It's not something that you should hide from people. If you're feeling an urge to do something like that, you've got to talk to someone, because no one who's struggling with addiction really wants to die, I don't think.
We have to destigmatize it so people know that there is a way out. People have to have hope. If people want to get through addiction, they can.
And that everybody deserves to know that they're loved and that they're important.
Yeah.
And that they mean something. That's the thing he would want everyone to know.